Welcome back, everyone. Well, today we're not going to be doing a reaction video. Rather, I want to fill you in on some of the challenges that anyone creating historical content on YouTube is really dealing with in a significant way these days. And I know that this has been a problem for a while now, but it seems as though just even in the last couple of weeks, it has escalated in a significant way. And what I'm talking about is the problem of demonetization and ad restriction and even age restriction on videos simply talking about historic content. And I want to use a few examples just from the last several weeks that I have personally dealt with, and then talk about some of what I see happening across the board for YouTube content creators in general. So first, a little bit of background. If you're not familiar with the process for how a YouTube video goes live on the channel and how content creators make money in the first place. Basically, once you've created your video, you upload it to your channel. In the process of uploading to your channel, then you do kind of a self-check on the content of your video. And there are a whole series of things that you have to rate yourself on when it comes to your content. Is there violent content? Is there graphic or sensitive content? Are there topics that could be potentially seen as hate speech and all these sorts of things? And you rate these things and you tell YouTube's algorithm what your video is about. So for example, if I was doing a video and I was talking about riots that happened at some point in history, that is an act of violence, but I'm sharing it in such a way that doesn't exploit that violence, that doesn't praise it, doesn't glorify it, and doesn't graphically depict that violence. So I would tell YouTube that. And then its own algorithm is going to compare what it's detecting in the video and in the words, and it's going to come up with whether or not it thinks you're accurate. 95% of the time, that's the case. But occasionally then what happens is once the checks are done and it says, okay, you're all clear, you can run ads on this video, which is how YouTubers make their money. The ads that you see, whether you skip them or you watch them, that's where the revenue comes from. And YouTube takes 40% of that ad revenue, and then 60% goes to the channel that is hosting the video. Now, with all of that in mind, what has been happening lately is that a day or two after the video goes live, or sometimes even within an hour or so, YouTube's AI is detecting things and saying, no, this is a violation. This is something that our ad partners do not want to run ads on, so we're restricting it. So your video may stay live, but you're not going to make any money off of it. And some recent examples for me personally where this has happened is, one was a 2-second clip of a tiny swastika down in the corner of the screen in a video about the Axis powers of World War II. It wasn't praising the National Socialists. It wasn't glorifying them. It was talking about, in fact, how badly they mishandled things during the war. And as part of that, it very briefly showed a tiny little swastika on a flag in an image, a larger image of other things. YouTube dinged that and said, no ads for you on that video because of that 2-second clip in a 40-minute video. Another recent one where I had this happen was with some videos I did where I was reviewing some videos from the National Archives YouTube channel. It was the ones Know Your Ally, Britain. There were 2 parts to it. And in this case, the video went past all the checks just fine and ran for about a day with no issues. And then YouTube's algorithm said, wait, there's hate speech in this video. You can't monetize it. Specifically what it was the narrator of this video on the National Archives website, produced by the government, used the 3-letter shortened version for Japanese people that was commonly used during the Second World War by American soldiers and by Americans in general. YouTube determined that that was hate speech and that I could not monetize the video because that word was used once in a 40-minute video. So there's a couple of examples. Another prominent example is anytime you do anything related to the September 11th attacks. In fact, me just saying that right now might have just demonetized this video. You literally cannot talk about that topic, even in an educational way, even in a way that just says, here's what happened, without YouTube saying, no, we can't run ads on that video. That's a sensitive topic and it can't be done. In the past, I've dealt with this, and I know my friends have as well. Things like, for example, going to Gettysburg. And if you're filming near the Rose Farm, which is where a lot of the burials took place after the battle, there are a lot of prominent photos that were taken by guys like Alexander Gardner showing the bodies laid out, being prepared for burial. And those are on the signs at Gettysburg. And so if I'm walking around Gettysburg and in my video I happen to show that sign that is there at the Rose Farm, that will demonetize the video, even in a historic context. So that's some of what we're dealing with. The Holocaust is another one. A video about the Holocaust is almost certainly to not only get demonetized, but also age restricted. And when it's age restricted, that means that not only are you not making money on it, but people have to sign in and prove they're at least 18 to even watch the video. And then YouTube just doesn't recommend it to anybody. And so if you make a video like that, just expect that no one will see it. So the problem, of course, then with all of that is that it means that content creators are highly discouraged from talking about those historic events. We're not going to make videos about the Holocaust. We're not going to make videos about September 11th. We're not going to make videos that talk about the horror of war. Because if we dare, even at a distance, to show a body that might be in the background in a photo, an old photo, even a black and white photo, it's not going to be able to be shown. So, what is the remedy for YouTube content creators? Well, here's how it works, and I want to walk you through it because I've been dealing with this. 6 of my last 7 videos that have gone up on the channel have been demonetized in this process because of hate speech or violence. I had one the other day that showed a 2-second clip of an artillery gun firing during World War II. It was a video about George Patton. It showed the gun firing. No one died. There were no explosions. It was just a gun firing. And it was demonetized for that. That's how bad it's gotten at this point. So what's the remedy? So here's what happens. When that happens, typically it's after the video has already gone live. And so YouTube says, boom, you're not making money anymore. Well, the video is already live. Most of your views, 80% of your views, happen in the first probably 72 hours that the video is live. And it's during that time that YouTube is demonetizing these videos. It's killing the incentive for content creators to make the videos because you're losing all that revenue. So what happens then is that once the AI dings that for a copyright violation or for a violation, demonetizes it, restricts it. And I should say that it doesn't completely demonetize it if people have YouTube Premium, which at least for me is about 15% of the total income that I get. That income still happens, but it's a tiny percent. It's like 15% for me. It may be different for others. So you can appeal it. And when you appeal it, it usually takes up to 24 hours. It could take up to a week before a human then goes in and reviews it. And in every single case, when I have appealed it and had a human look at it, the human has confirmed it. Now, here's the thing. If you read YouTube's their own guidelines on what is okay to be monetized and what's not, none of these examples that I've shared with you violate YouTube's guidelines. They all say that in an educational context, if you're talking about a historic event, you're not exploiting it, you're not espousing, for example, hate speech or that certain rhetoric, then it's perfectly fine and can be monetized. But it seems like whoever these people are that are reviewing this, and I don't know if it's like some college student somewhere or some person that doesn't even understand the context and doesn't speak the language, I don't know. I don't know who it is. But they always confirm that what the algorithm said was right. And here's the thing, they don't even tell you what it is until after that appeal. So when it first gets demonetized and it tells you, oh, there's hate speech in your video, it doesn't tell you where the hate speech is. It doesn't tell you it's at 3927 of your video. It just says somewhere in your 40-minute video, there was something that violated our guidelines. Now, if you appeal, then they'll come back and tell you, here's the specific place. That's how I found out, for example, that it was the 2-second view of the swastika that got my video demonetized. I didn't know that until that point. Well, by the time all that happens, you've already lost most of the revenue you would have made because it's been demonetized for days. Now, because my channel has grown to the point it is, and so I have a little bit more sway when it comes to this stuff with YouTube, and I have something called a partner manager, and you have to get to a certain place before you even get that. There is another remedy that they gave me, and hopefully it's available to smaller channels too, to all channels, and that is you can go back in and you can escalate that appeal. And what you have to do then is give a link and give a reasoning for that. And then it goes to like a supervisor at YouTube. And in every case where I've done that, within 10 minutes of me escalating the appeal, I've been confirmed as being right. And they've removed the demonetization. The problem is by the time that happens, you've lost 90% of your revenue because this whole process plays out over days. If it happened before the video went live, and they told you specifically and you could expedite this process, it wouldn't be as big of an issue. But because of the nature of how it works, content creators are losing most of their revenue. And so like I said earlier, what it means then is that you learn pretty quickly what topics just not to touch. Don't touch World War II. Don't touch the Holocaust. Don't touch National Socialism. Don't ever use the other word for that. And don't talk about the Austrian painter with the mustache. Because if you use his name, that's a good chance you're going to get demonetized as well. And that's where we're at right now with YouTube, is we are at this place where, whether intentionally or unintentionally, by the nature of their monetization policy and by what seems to be lack of understanding by the human reviewers as to what context is, we are being censored from talking about certain topics. Now, I tend to try to err on the side of believing the best of people, and so I don't want to believe that it's intentional that certain events are being censored, but it sure feels that way sometimes. And it makes it very, very difficult, especially when you're trying to talk about history, when you don't know what's even going to get dinged for demonetization. Never in a million years would I have thought that a 2-second clip of an artillery gun firing would demonetize a video for violence. Never did I think that a clip talking in a video about talking about the Axis powers in the context of history, because it showed a 2-second clip of a tiny little flag in the corner of an image that had a swastika on it, that would demonetize a video. That makes no sense to me. So in particular, I would love to hear from other content creators, because I know a lot of you are subscribed to my channel. What has your experience been like with these things? Have you had a similar experience? Are there certain topics that you find you just avoid now because of that? Let me know what you think about all this, because I'm really frustrated right now. That's why there was no video yesterday, because I did a video yesterday and it got demonetized before it even went live, because it talked about 9/11 and it showed an image of the Twin Towers burning. That's history, folks. That's a major part of history that everybody has seen. We can't even talk about it. Let me know what you think, guys. And in the meantime, if you want to do something, whether it's me or any other content creators out there, if you have content creators that you love, support them on Patreon. I'm telling you, it matters more than you could possibly know. Even if you go and sign up for like $10 a month to help your favorite content creators, that goes so far in helping out, especially when a lot of these videos are getting demonetized. I am proud to support 12 channels on Patreon, and I'm always looking to add more. So the link is in the description for this channel. I'm not saying you got to do that for me, but if you've got channels you love and you watch every one of their videos, please consider doing that, even if it's a small amount. Help them out. Encourage them to keep making content. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. Thanks for listening, guys.